It's so hard to believe that a year ago I released my first video on this channel. And when I think back, I don't even know what I thought the space would become. I just knew that motherhood had changed the feeling of our days, for me somehow. And every day at home I longed for more presence and more rhythm and more meaning for the ordinary parts of family life. I'd come across the ward-off approach before through my years of working in education, but it wasn't until I became a mother myself that the ideas resonated so well with me. And I could understand why those ideas were so important and where they were coming from. I was searching for ways to make our days more calm, more connected. I was searching for rhythm. I wanted things to feel more grounded with what was happening all around us. The seasons, the energy, our energy, whatever stage my son was in at the time, and the feeling inside our home. And slowly those ideas just weave themselves into our life, into the way we moved in our mornings, the stories we told, the things we notice outside, and the rhythm of our weeks. And looking back now, especially making this episode, I can see that this channel has grown alongside us with that too. When I look back at the clips, he looks so little. And I am clearly just trying to figure it out too. I think in the beginning, I thought I needed everything worked out before I could share anything on here. And then slowly I started to realize that you are all literally doing the same thing, mucking in and figuring it out. And that's real, it's raw, but it's okay to share that as well. I would never suggest that I'm a ward-off expert, but I'm giving it a go, and I think it's really cool to find content that shares that and inspires that for other mums too. Over this past year, I've worked out that mums aren't searching for perfection. What we're looking for online is honesty, it's warmth, gentleness, and a feeling that we can exhale into for a moment is gold. And maybe that's why this space slowly became what it did. Not because I set out with some big plan, but because these rhythms have genuinely become a part of our life. Our days started revolving more around the seasons, spending more time out, even though it would be much easier not to. Opening the windows and the doors, watching the weather change, wearing wet weather gear so that we could get outside, and even cooking differently depending on what season we're in. I found myself becoming a lot more intentional with the food we were eating, not in a restrictive way, but in a nourishing way. Wanting foods that support our gut health and our hormones, our energy, our growing bodies, and that still feels comforting and realistic for family life. And especially in the years of early motherhood where it feels like everyone wants something from you all of the time. So many of the recipes I make are born out of this season. Simple meals, baby-friendly meals, toddler-friendly meals, things we can make together and then share together around the table. I think the kitchen has always been somewhere I feel most grounded, but learning that it can be messy and hard, but still fun, has given me another invitation to step back in and find that love again of being in the kitchen, even though I have an extra set of hands that literally want to help whatever I'm doing, want to explore, wants to feel the whole jar of rice for the first time, or dip his hand in the flour and eat it. And I don't want to be in the kitchen because everything needs to be beautifully homemade all day, every day, but because there's something about preparing food for people that you love that quietly shapes the atmosphere of your home. Alongside this, storytelling has slowly found a place in our days as well. At first, it was in really small ways, and I will admit I found it really challenging. It was something quite new to me, but I also loved how quickly my toddler responded to it. We started with little seasonal stories, one main character, Ruru, which I made as a little needle felting attempt. We do lots of nature tales and bring it into simple imagination throughout the day. Yeah, and over time I just started noticing how deeply my son responded to this character or characters that we would talk about in the stories. How they slowed things down when they were getting really hectic. How they would create connection if my son was feeling out of sorts. And just how they would bring warmth and meaning to literally ordinary days. It's like a little bit of magic in just a normal Tuesday. Now, as my son gets older, I can see that we're entering another gentle shift again. There's more space now for handwork and crafts, for longer stretches of imaginative play, for creating together, and for lingering over things a little bit more, which is really special. I think one of the biggest things that this last year has taught me is that children don't actually need constant entertainment to have a really rich and beautiful childhood. Some of the richest moments happen in the quiet spaces. And when we're present and enjoying what we're doing, we actually get to see that, which is very cool. Watching my son with his outdoor play, collecting things from nature, listening to stories, helping in the kitchen, open-ended play with simple things, and being included in real life. And honestly, I think I needed that reminder too, because modern life can be so loud sometimes. So fast, so stimulating, and so full of pressure to optimize all of motherhood. But this past year has slowly pulled me back towards something gentler, towards rhythms instead of strict schedules, towards living seasonally instead of constantly pushing through, towards living in a home that feels lived in and nourishing instead of perfect. And somewhere along the way, this channel became more than just videos. It became a place where I realized there were other people longing for these things too. People wanting slower mornings, more meaningful family rhythms, more connection, more presence, and more softness in the way that they're moving through life. And I think that's been the most surprising part in all of this. Not the growth of a YouTube channel, but the messages, the conversations, the other mums saying, "This is how I want my home to feel too," or "I can totally relate to that." And that means more to me than I can probably explain, because a year ago, this was just an idea, and now it feels like something that's slowly growing roots. Not perfectly, and not quickly, but steadily. And I still don't really know where all of this is going to lead. But I do know that this past year has changed how I see our days. It's taught me that ordinary life is already full of meaning when we slow down enough to really notice it. And maybe that's what MummaFlow has really become. Not about creating a perfect life, but about creating a space where we can be present in the life we already have. So if you've been here for part of this first year, thank you. Thank you for spending pieces of your days with us, for supporting this space, and for encouraging me to keep creating. It truly means more than you know. And I'm really excited to keep growing alongside all of this, one season at a time. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week, friends.